So Greta Thunberg, she's back in the news again today. So we're getting the aftermath of her climate action speech, and it's just gone next level because one of the Fox guests suggested that she had mental issues and so forth, and he's not going to get invited back to any any more discussions. So let's have a look at this because it gets very interesting. Oh, where's my preview window going? There we go. And I might divert and start talking about some symbolism with Greta Thunberg as well, and I should actually wear my tinfoil hat because it's going to get interesting.
Scott Morrison's telling Aussie kids not to panic after Greta Thunberg condemned world leaders at the UN for failing to act decisively on climate change.
I think it's important that we give them that confidence that they will not only have a wonderful country and pristine environment to live in, but they'll also have an economy that they can live in as well.
Fallout over Greta's speech has reverberated around the world. Fox News was forced to apologise after one of its contributors called her mentally ill. And back home, Andrew Bolt has also had another crack.
She is not the Messiah. She is just a depressed, an extremely anxious girl, and a very unhappy one. Oh, shame on those adults who applauded that tantrum, that breakdown, that circus act.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a bit of a wow moment there. Andrew Bolt, he's a sort of far right commentator in Australia here, but what they're trying to point out is that she's obviously being coached. She's obviously being coached here, and what I'll do is I'll get into this now because it's probably the best time to do it because probably won't have an opportunity later. So I'll get the. So I started researching this because something just didn't add up with me, and when things don't add up, I start researching things. So it all started. I'll get the Safari window up. Safari window up, and we'll have a bit of a chat about this. So it all started when I was talking about the yacht, the zero emissions yacht, and I'm thinking zero emissions yacht, okay. So I had a bit of a look into it and found out the yacht's name there, and it's the Malaysia 2. Oh, was it Malaysia 2 or something? So looked it up on Wikipedia here, and it just started getting interesting because apparently this yacht is an ex-racing yacht, and it used to be owned by none other than Benjamin de Rothschild. Yes, and that's the famous Rothschild bankers, like multi-billionaires. I'm thinking, why the hell is the Rothschilds getting involved in this sort of thing? This is a 1.3 million euro yacht she was cruising around in from Sweden to New York, basically. So if you look up Benjamin Rothschild, apparently he used to own this yacht, and they used to race it in his team Gitana. So yeah, Rothschilds like this. It's the Rothschilds, and if you don't know who the Rothschilds is, that's another series of videos talking about the Rothschilds. Basically, one of the richest families in the world. So why would they choose Greta? Well, basically, several reasons. First, she's female, and then also, she's got issues. She's got lots of issues, and so basically, it'll set her up that you can't criticize her because she's female. She's got lots of issues. She's ticked so many boxes. It's incredible. So that's why it's dividing nation. Now, I feel sorry for her because she's being used. And I started researching a bit more. That's the actual yacht there. And there's the yacht again. But the thing is, the more you research Greta, the more weird it gets. And she did these photo shoots for this magazine called ID. Right? And anyone that knows anything about symbolism, that's the classic Illuminati symbol. The Illuminati symbol that is quite prevalent in Hollywood celebrities. So you can see here another one. This is total Illuminati symbolism. I should have my tinfoil hat on here, but no, this is not by accident. Put it this way, this is not by accident that she's become the poster child for the Illuminati here. Woo! And so, if you want to know what the significance of one eye sign is, you'll see here. So when people do this, it's actually a symbol for the Antichrist, because it's 3 6s. You can draw 3 6s from that. 1, 2, 3. That's why I don't like Donald Trump doing that all the time. Every time I see that, my background in symbolism just goes crazy. You can see here. I'll just zoom in on this. You can see here you got Bieber doing it. You got Jay-Z. Everyone does this symbolism. It's they'll say it's the OK symbol. No, it's not really. And got all these ads. So it's basically the Eye of Horus. Also, the all-seeing eye. So you cover one eye. And it's meant to represent darkness, the occult. And you go on about here, Western occultism. You can have a read about this. I'm not going to get into it. The famous. I used to research this before. I think this symbol here, with the all-seeing eye on top of the pyramid. It's on every $1 bill in the US. Not many people knew about it. And then the movie, it was Nicolas Cage. What was it called again? National Treasure. That's right. After National Treasure, it became mainstream. But I used to point this out to people 20 years ago. It's like, my God, it's the Masonic origins of Washington, and they talk about this anyway. So basically, something's not right with this whole thing. That I'm trying to figure out what's going on, who our handlers are. That's the classic term for people that manipulate these poor individuals. And something's not right. So when I was mocking her, it was more of a thing about when I feel uncomfortable. I start sort of trying to sort of downplay it and make fun. But this is serious stuff. This is really serious stuff. We've got a young girl that's I reckon she'd be traumatized, very traumatized by this whole thing. So let's get back to the video here, and we'll keep looking, and you'll see. I'll start commenting more on this. Okay, so she's been criticised by Andrew Bolt, and we've got basically the left-wing female here and the right-wing Steve Price. And let's see how it goes.
Steve Price is here to give us his take on the situation. Pricey, why do you think everyone is so scared of an intelligent, articulate 16-year-old girl?
No, we're not scared of a articulate 16-year-old girl. We're scared that kids are being used as pawns for this activism. It shouldn't be. They should be kids. They shouldn't be. This stuff stresses kids out. They're just going to develop all sorts of issues. That's what we're scared of, really. If you want to say scared, that's what we're scared of. The kids are going to develop all sorts of issues, and these are adult issues, and they should be handled by adults, not 16-year-olds.
I don't think everyone is scared of Greta. I think they're surprised at her vocal zealotry. I mean, there's vocal zealots on both sides of this argument, and we know that. It's been that way for as long as this debate's been going on. I think it's just surprising that someone at such a young age, at age 16, would make such doomsday predictions about the climate.
Yeah, I totally agree. Kids need to be kids. This whole situation just makes me really sad. Every time I watch it, it's just I'm really lost for words about this whole thing. It's really, I shouldn't have picked on her the other day. I just try to make light of it because it's very serious. Whoops, hang on. Back again. 10-minute timer. the famous 10-minute timer.
And I think most of us look at her, and from my point of view, I admire her passion greatly.
Great. So look, she's reading from the script. You know, this isn't like an articulate person who's, you know, freewheeling and, you know, talking from her heart. This is totally scripted. Look, you'll see if hands are actually just looking, you know, down on each point that she needs to say. This is so well rehearsed. Make no mistake, this is really, really well rehearsed.
But I feel a little bit sad about the way she's managed to get herself into such a frenzy about this.
I don't think she's got herself in a frenzy, Pricey. I mean, I think commentators and people watching her that have gone after her characteristics, what she looks like, what she sounds like, seem to have got themselves in a frenzy. I mean, the science is clear, and isn't she making a point that our inaction on climate change isn't going to affect us? It's going to affect her generation, Pricey.
But we already know this. It's like she doesn't really need to point it out to us. We already know this. We already know that we need to get off fossil fuels. You know, all the major manufacturers are bringing out all the electric cars. You know, you've got like, you know, Porsche doing an all-electric supercar. You know, you've got Ferrari. You know, you've got Ferrari hybrid. You've got Ferrari all-electric. They're going to go all-electric as well. You know, you got Nissan Leaf. You got, you know, the Hyundai, and, you know, everyone's doing electric. You know, the aim is, I think, by about 2030, most of the cars are going to be electric, and they're trying to phase out diesel as well. So I just don't see the point. You know, we're already doing as much as we can. It's just alarmist. Whoops, sorry, that's the little volume button there. Yeah, it's so alarmist. It's just crazy. It's basically made to divide us. It's really what the main aim is to divide. It's the old divide and conquer. You know, it's like divide everyone, cause chaos. There's a Latin term for it, order out of chaos, in Latin, and basically create chaos, then bring in a solution. The government will come up with a solution, and we'll basically lose all our rights and freedoms.
Well, the science is not clear. I mean, she's making predictions that in 11 years the world will be extinct. She's talking about climate change killing people.
Oh, well, that's true. Climate change will cause deaths for sure. That's not alarmist. That's just a fact. Even the increased high temperatures in summer is causing, you know, problems in Europe.
She's scaring children, and this whole idea of eco-anxiety, I think it's very real. We saw the amazing numbers of people who turned out the other day, and good on them, but do we really need to go around scaring a whole bunch of people with loose facts? And she does not have the facts to back up what she's saying.
I feel here we're being diverted from the issue. Let's assume she's wrong. Why target her?
So that's a good point. That's a good point. Because basically we don't know the people behind it. Well, I've researched a little bit, but I can't figure out who's behind her. I read an article where her mum was trying to discourage her, apparently. You know, so who was handling her? Who took her under their wings and basically coached her to the nth degree to do this major speech? You know, you think about it. They used like a 1.3 million euro yacht to bring her from Sweden to New York. That rang alarm bells straight away with me. It's like, what's going on here? That's just so extreme to be using that sort of, you know, it's symbolic. Everything's symbolic, but who can afford a $1.2 million yacht? Well, it's like they wheeled her out like this is the future. We're going to be cruising around in yachts instead of using planes. It's like, well, I can't afford a 1.2 million euro yacht. Is anyone in the audience, can you afford a 1.2 million euro yacht? It was ludicrous. That's why I was laughing all the time. I was thinking, this is the most ludicrous thing I've seen in my life. Anyway, so good point though, Waleed. We should not be attacking her. We should be finding out who the beep is behind all this.
I don't get why there are people running around saying, you know what, the most important thing to do right now, the most important person that we need to take down right now is this school kid from Sweden. Why are people doing that? Like, what is it that means that there are these people who have such bees in their bonnet about a 16-year-old girl's speech?
I'm here to give my opinion about what Greta said at the United Nations, and I think she's been alarmist. I don't care whether
that's
it's
not what we've actually
16-year-old
asked you.
Greta or whether it's 50-year-old George. I mean, if people are at the extremes in this argument, I think they deserve to be discussed and debated.
But what's interesting here is not whether or not Greta is correct in every particular what she's got to say. That's actually not the interesting bit. The interesting bit is that she's become some kind of culture war icon. That she's at the centre of this, and you've got these adults now trying to attack her. I just wonder what that reveals about who's doing the attacking.
Well, I presume that she's quite happy to put herself out there and have this debate, otherwise she wouldn't be there. I mean, one of the interesting things about this is her age means it's very difficult to be any tougher in your arguments about what she said because she is a 16-year-old girl.
All right, Pricey, we're never going to agree on this.
So that was the end of that, and they went on to the next story. But yeah, it's all very interesting. A lot of psychology going on here, and basically, when I try and understand things, what's going on, I sort of think the main aim of the elites is total control. I look at trends. Everyone sort of goes, well, John, what are you worried about this thing? Because I see trends. Like when I was growing up, the freedoms we had then, and now everything's run on fear. Like, we used to ride our bikes to school and so forth, and that's, you can't ride, it's all too dangerous. And it's like, there's too many cars on the road. It's like, there's too many cars on the road because everyone's afraid of their kids riding to school on their own, so they drive them to school. But if everyone was riding their bikes to school, there'd be not many cars on the road in the morning, would there? It's a crazy logic. And so I work back from there. I sort of think it's all about control, and then I work out, it's New World Order government, one world totalitarian regime government is what their aim is eventually, and everything's heading towards that. Now you've got like the social credit system in China that will be rolled out worldwide eventually, and everyone will be like, that's great, it'll keep everyone in line. It's like, no, we don't want that. We don't want this sort of thing. We want more freedoms. It's anyway, that's a video for another day. I don't want to talk too much about this sort of stuff, but haven't got my tinfoil hat on tonight. But yeah, there's a lot to talk to about. This is it brought up some major issues, and I sort of thought I need to start talking about this sort of thing, even though it's probably not going to be advertiser friendly, and YouTube will try and take it all down. But who cares? Need to start thinking what is going on here. What is the real meaning behind all this? And we'll finish by showing you the Illuminati symbology. She's obviously didn't go to these guys and I want to be in your magazine, and it's being used. And it's really sad. There's this total Illuminati symbolism there. It's the hand covering the eye. You see it in all the celebrities. Where are we? I had a picture here somewhere. Maybe I saw it somewhere else. And a whole montage here. Where is it? Famous Eye of Horus in Dark Horse, Katy Perry. It's pretty. It's a bit. Here we go. Here it is. Look at all the celebrities are doing it. We got Johnny Depp, Jay-Z. We got Lady Gaga. Some of these I don't recognise. Justin Bieber, Bono. Why are they all doing this? What's this, some sort of cutesy arty thing? I don't think so. There's a reason behind all this. It's all symbolism, because it all goes back to that we have all evolved from reptiles. So it's the reptilian brain, and so a lot of powerful imagery is because basically reptiles can't speak, can't communicate with each other, so they communicate. Whoops, going back to the another 10 minutes up. I'm talking too much, but they use non-verbal communication and symbology, because they can't talk. Snakes don't talk, crocodiles don't talk. They communicate through other means, and so symbology basically taps into that, and because I've got a background in psychology, I understand a lot of this as well. But it's very, very interesting. So I'll leave you that image there. See if we can zoom in on it a bit. Oh yeah. See the symbology there. You've got Madonna. You've got all the famous people, all being used to manipulate us. That's fun. So it's even got something called magic there. It's all occult symbolism. Anyway, that's enough on this video. It sort of went on a bit of a tangent, but it's all tied together, because basically Greta's part of this symbology as well. There we go. So it all goes in a full circle. You can't escape it. You got any sort of power, you're going to start getting into this occult symbols. It's pretty full on. So we'll leave the video there. Hope you enjoyed it. Something a bit different. Expand your mind a bit. Have a bit of a think about this. I'm sure I'll get trolled in the comments, but I don't know. I've been researching this stuff for 20 years. I know what I'm talking about. So anyway, I'll see you next time, and cheers. See you later. We'll do the